Yeah, maybe, but I don't think that's a bad food habit. Who would like to share their worst food habit?
Way too much candy.
Way too much candy.
Yeah.
At night.
At night.
Cool. Hands up if you think that's a kind of bad food habit. A little mixed. Yeah, kind of I do something very similar. I like to eat later at night. Okay, if I had someone who's like, that's my worst food habit, and he specifically does it at night, you know what I'm going to ask him? What do you do throughout the day in terms of your calories? Do you have regular meals, or do you wait until the end of the day to get most of your meals in?
It's minimal in the morning, then a decent lunch, but not too much.
Uh-huh.
Sleepy, and then I would say probably 40% of the day, not 60% of the night.
Uh-huh. So are you really hungry when you have your dinner?
Yeah.
So he's starving when he eats his dinner. Let's say I'm not, because I'm never going to tell anyone don't eat something. But if I wanted to curtail that behavior, what I would suggest is like, hey dude, why don't you just have bigger lunches? Why don't you have a bigger breakfast? What's the most important macronutrient that I'm going to go after? Protein. Hey, do me a favor. Let's say you go to Sweetgreen for lunch all the time and you get like a nice chicken Caesar salad. Can you get double chicken next time? Okay, that's something that is probably actionable and doable for him. And because he's doing that, all of a sudden he's giving me more what I need, which is more protein. And then he's going to give me less of what he probably might not need to do for his goals, which is eat later at night because he's not as hungry. Remember, your brain being hungry means that it needs stuff. It perceives hunger as a threat. So if I don't eat all this candy, what am I going to do? Starve. Because what does he not do in the morning? Eat very much. He said he ate a very light breakfast. So maybe if he just ate more at breakfast, that might fix a bunch of other problems. And what helps you feel full? Protein. Oh fuck, that's kind of like a win-win-win right there. So you can take someone's worst food habit and keep it in there. I'm just going to tweak it. I'm never going to tell you don't have your worst food habit unless it literally is like smoking crack and like eating a thing of ice cream. Don't fucking do that. So within reason, I'm gonna have you do that. Your crack pipe and Ben and Jerry's. But I might curtail something. I might be like, hey, before you have your Ben and Jerry's and smoke some of the good stuff, why don't you have a protein bar before you do that? Yes, emotional eating. Emotional eating is super tough and most people do it. Food is a comfort. Was the first thing I said. We eat food for two reasons. It's tasty and we associate emotions with it, but also it keeps us alive. I'm kind of talking to him about the stuff that like keeps him alive, but I'm not addressing the stuff that's the individual in front of me. I stress eat because I don't have control over my job and I fucking hate it and I wish I had more control over things and I don't. Okay. Identify the triggers. If you really like, I need to eat a croissant because it makes me feel good when work is going to shit. I'm like, okay, well, I can't control work not going to shit. But here's what you're going to do for me. Before you have that croissant, why don't you just have half a protein bar and put a timer on for 5 minutes? After that 5 minutes, you still want to eat that treat, whatever, be my guest. You need it. It's going to make you happy. But if it's something like that, I'm like, okay, well, give me a little bit of something that I need that's going to benefit your health, and then you can have what you need in order to maintain your stress levels and sanity. The worst thing you can do in terms of nutrition is tell someone like, hey, don't eat that. Don't think of a pink elephant. Everyone thinks of a pink elephant. Don't eat that food. I really want it now. Don't eat fried chicken. You have a fight in 2 weeks. Fuck, I really want fried chicken now. Give them what they want, but put some guardrails on it, and all of a sudden you kind of help behavior change. So, final thing that I'll address before I let you go. Your lifestyle is your schedule. And Muay Thai requires a lot of good scheduling stuff. I think these next two slides are going to help everyone tremendously in terms of just getting your protein intake. I wish you guys could see it better. Scheduling meters on your calendar. How many of you guys live by your work calendar? Everyone. If you have a work meeting at 1 o'clock, what are you guys going to do? Show up for that work meeting. Why don't you put your lunch on there too? The second I make people do that, all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I ate lunch today. I haven't eaten lunch in 2 years because my job is so stressful. You got to budget some time. You got to put your meals down on the work calendar, and I guarantee you're going to do it. And then finally, match your macronutrients to that time. You're hungry in the morning? Okay, great, have a balanced meal. You know Muay Thai class at 6 o'clock? 5 o'clock comes around, okay, have a banana. Put that in your schedule. Lunchtime's at 1 o'clock, have another balanced meal. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here at like 8:45 after sparring. What am I gonna have at home? I don't know, it's on my calendar, it's all budgeted in. The better you are at scheduling your stuff, the easier this is. And then you can play with it. Hey, I know I have a high intensity session coming on, I should have more carbohydrates today. Or hey, I have a rest period today. I have like a cheat day planned. Plan it, write it down. Cheat days only seem like really unforgivable when they're spontaneous, but really if you plan for it, you'll probably make better decisions. All these things are super actionable that everyone in this room can do. And I guarantee you that you have work tell you to do it and you got paid to do it, you do it tomorrow. So why don't you do it for yourselves for free? That's how I look at it. And the final thing, how do you apply this into Muay Thai? Quick tips, we talked about this before. Do not train hungry or dehydrated. That's the easiest way to have a really shit training performance. Golden rules. So how do you avoid that? You have carbs pre-workout, fast carbohydrates an hour before, slower digesting carbohydrates around 3 hours before. So like basically balanced meals. I guarantee you if you do that, you're probably gonna fix most of your problems. Let's say you have a really hard training session, have a Gatorade or have some type of carbohydrate during that session. That's gonna really help you. And what are you gonna do after it? Okay, great, I'm gonna have a balanced meal. I had a really hard training session, gonna have some protein, carbs, and fats. So maybe after it, I'm gonna have like a nice omelet with half an avocado, a little bit of cheese, and maybe a little bit of salami. Boom, it's everything taken care of. Make sure you're drinking enough, and especially in this heat, make sure you're getting enough salt. That's a really important one. Especially, I'm sweating balls right now. I don't know if you all are, but like, yeah, you gotta rehydrate after that. And then have your meal ready post-training. That's not always possible, but like, if you can do that, I guarantee you, that's gonna make your life so much easier. There's way more I could have talked about. I always run over with this type of stuff, so cognizant of your time. Let me know what your email is. I'll have a little list. I can send you all this slide. If you have any questions, please do let me know. Is there any final kind of questions that I can deal with now? Please.
What would you recommend to do if you're going on the 5K before you train? Like what should you eat? Because if you eat light before the run, I'd understand, but then what about right after that if you're going to train again?
So you have a really long training session?
Like an hour.
Yeah. Drink your carbs. Drink your carbs.
Instead of eating them, like drinking like a smoothie?
Might be easier. Yeah, it could like a smoothie or just a Gatorade or something like that. Drink your carbs. So you have a long training session, drink your carbs. It's gonna make your life super easy in terms of that. That's a really good question. Anything else? Please.
Say you stop doing resistance training, you put it back in,
Uh-huh.
you do Muay Thai.
Yeah.
How much will your base base sequence be like 500 calories, 1,000 calories? I guess it could be calories.
So how many calories do you need to eat to be in a deficit or a surplus is what you're asking me?
Well, you probably have to hit a surplus if you're going to include resistance training, right?
Yeah, different topic, really important topic. That's gonna make things a little murky. If you have high enough percentages of body fat and you start lifting weights, you're gonna improve your body composition by essentially losing some body fat and putting on a little bit of muscle. You can only do that if you're brand new to the weight room or you have excessive amounts of body fat. If you're an advanced trainee who's been lifting weights for years, you're probably not gonna put on muscle without being in a caloric surplus. Probably. Be very hard to. Higher body fat percentages are kind of like your body's emergency system, and it doesn't really want to live like that all the time, so it's going to be easier for it to go like, what if I just exercise more? You'll probably use some of that body fat as an energy source and then lean out a little bit. That can I answer that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good question.
Basically, like, don't put that anymore
No.
after weightlifting.
No.
While keeping Muay Thai.
No. Every form of exercise you do costs energy. Don't shortcharge your workouts just to be hungry and be tough. If I had to say one thing that a lot of fighters are super